Our time with the Cincinnati Reds is drawing to a close. We are not done yet, but with MLB The Show 19 on the horizon, we are obviously running out of time. Although, to answer that question of, hey, are you getting MLB 19? I'm on the fence. And it is because of the leaked image of the main menu that shows new tags on every mode except Play Now and Franchise. And while I do think this is a very solid franchise mode, there is obviously stuff that could be added to it. And if they haven't made any major changes, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to commit to dropping $60 to play the same exact mode again and essentially have it be a roster update, even if I do enjoy some Diamond Dynasty, even if Road to the Show is seemingly getting some great improvements. That said, my focus for now is still on winning with this team, even if it is in a limited amount of time that we have left. The last episode was incredibly disappointing as we fell short in the playoffs. Of course, the argument, the debate over, you kind of botched it, maybe you didn't, will of course be there. And that is understandable, of course. I have no idea who I'm going to try to sign as a pitching coach. I was tempted to go for Rosado just because he's 39 years old. So I probably will. And we'll see if we can sign old Ken to a contract there. I'm going to have to offer him more money. Hold on, Ken. We'll make you rich. How's $6 million sound? There you go. What else did we need? Farm director and a first base coach. Cool. First base coach. Let's look. I wish it was for Alex Cora. Probably a Bruno. Let's go for Sean Bruno here. We'll go up to a lovely, probably $6 million just to make sure. And for a farm director, Kevin Helton or Tyler Kearns. +3 speed, +2 bunting for Trevor McMillan. +2 power. Let's go for Kevin Helton. Love the addition to the power game if I can get it. Hopefully those three will sign on. As far as our exclusive free agent negotiations are concerned, Joe Bailey has been pretty solid for his entire career here. But we do have quite a few pitchers right now that are battling for spots. Of course, Carrasco and Martin have guaranteed spots, and then between Lord, Rodriguez, Valencia, there's a lot of competition. Orlando Rosas as well. So I think we'll try to get something for Bailey. Hopefully we do. If he ends up coming back, that might not be the worst case scenario. It's interesting though, because obviously it's $21 million, and right now the cash flow is relatively low. Just a little bit, don't you think? And of course, there's really nothing that I can do, unfortunately. I mean, the budget is what it is, so despite the fact that I've added to it, which is really weird. So, let's go ahead and stim to the next part of free agency. Bruno has accepted. Quinlan is going to be a free agent. Oh, no, that's not good. Napoleon Gillis is also opting out. This could be problematic. Kevin Helton has signed on. This is very problematic. All right, so we got all three staff members. However, we just had Joe Quinlan hit free agency, or at least he's expected to hit free agency. We do have the extra chance, but still, it would have been nice to just not have to deal with that at all. Shout out to Charlie Palmer being the top option there. So as far as the roster is concerned, again, we need to do just a little bit of cleanup, as we always do. I'm going to stay live with this, though. So obviously, Rincon, Shipman, and Abreu are ours. Enriquez, we just drafted recently. Camacho has been here for years. Aguilar is not on the team, nor is Fernandez or Gerbach. So we have our 5. Although that's right. It's Shipman, it's Rincon, it's Camacho, Enriquez. There's supposed to be a guy named Eric Luna here, and I'm not sure where he is. Maybe I marked him down in the wrong spot. Nope, that's right, I did. He's the first baseman. I'm like, wait a second, was he even a catcher? He wasn't. Nothing like catching mistakes in your whole, hey, keeping track of the team Word document. First base, of course, we have Bobby Bloom, Marlon Pugh, Richie McCauley. Serrano is there. Other two are Welsh and Luna. So we'll be dropping William Hong and Darren Carr, of course, the random guys that we have to sign to fill out the roster. Edwin Rios is also gone. Second base right now, it's Edwards, Cabrera, Elam's still there. Delman Lint is new. Esparza is good. Gaskins is not. Get off my team, please. Calhoun, also not on the team. Carter Smith is, although he's not going to be that great, I would assume. Third base, we have Vasquez and Lewis. That's about it. Vasquez right now up to an 89 at 28 years old. Henry Lewis, though, probably going to be ready for prime time. I would expect there to be roster changes heading into the season. We have Quinlan, Chavez, and Cardenas at shortstop. Cardenas looking pretty damn good as well. 21 and a 73 overall. In left, Calzado still here. We have Dave Miles, Clausen, Lawson, and Chet Hines, who I believe is a center fielder? Not entirely sure. Or he left. I don't remember. We have Kay and Booth. Alfaro can leave. And in right, it is May, Lau, Fernandez, Leary, and we can get rid of Munoz. I'm pretty sure we don't have like anybody in terms of starting pitching or pitching in general that I had to sign to fill out the roster with. I think we're golden. Even Michael Chen is ours, so that's how many starting pitchers, just pitchers in general, we have drafted. As far as this roster is concerned, this is going to be tough. This is going to be expensive. Very, very expensive. At the very least, we need to add Pedro Rodriguez to the 40-man. So we'll take care of that. Quick and easy. On the 40-man right now, we have a couple of spots at least, so that's good. That is good. We have, what, 2 spots? So, as far as whether or not losing Alonso, Malgrat, Leary, I think if we were to lose any of them to the Rule 5, we would survive that. As far as the big-time offers are concerned, this is where it gets to be trouble. Oh, boy. All right. Quinlan, May, Velez, Post, Johnson. Whew. This is going to be rough. This is going to be rough. Domingo Trevino wants to be in the rotation. That's not going to happen, and I'm not willing to pay someone $3.5 million a year to be, a bullpen guy at best. So he hasn't been that bad. I mean, a 4.25 ERA isn't great, but it's not that bad. But Domingo Trevino will be leaving this team. I see no other way to go about it. So Domingo, it's nice having you here. Napoleon Gillis right now is an 81. Actually, just to double check, Trevino, he's a 78. Actually, in fairness, if he's a 78, he hasn't been that good though. Still, I don't want to pay $3 million for average. We could get a younger player who would be better than average. So Trevino's still going to go. Napoleon Gillis, of course, we have a logjam of talent in the bullpen as well. I think we can afford to let go of Napoleon Gillis, especially with guys like Zarate and Anaya on the way up. Yeah, I think we can afford to do that. And then, of course, someone like Bruce Boyle, who I'm very tempted to trade after his collapse in the playoffs. Not overly impressed with Will Vincent either. But I think Trevino is going to go. Napoleon Gillis is an 81. He hasn't been that bad. I mean, he started off terribly, but he hasn't been that bad. He's also seen a lot of work for a reliever. Might be worth bringing back. Lincoln Post didn't play that much this season. Of course, we sent him down, called him up because he was doing really well in AAA. Problem with Lincoln is that he's 32, and I'm afraid that he's going to start regressing. He's only looking for 1.3 for one season, but he's a legit 74. Lincoln Post is also going to be on the way out. So we'll see what happens with Gillis. John Johnson, same thing, given quite a few chances at the major league level. Spent the majority of the past 2 seasons in AAA where he had done well. But I think with the other talent that we have available, some of the other younger talent coming up, we're going to leave John Johnson out of this team as well. So quite a bit of turnover here. Gillis might be back. Josh Rincon at catcher, not shortstop. What am I saying? At catcher. He's 29 years old. The problem is, while the hitting stats are very low, he's actually done okay in terms of batting average. But when you look at who we have, I mean, I'm not paying him $3.8 million. There's just no way. There is just no way. I'd rather go with Shipman and Abreu for the season if we don't have to re-sign Abreu. And then we look to hopefully draft a catcher for the future. Although, how much further into that future are we going to go is the question. But still, I think I think we let Rincon walk as well. As crazy as that is, but like I said, I figured heads would roll this year. Chris Velez was tremendous and has been tremendous. He has to come back. That's not even a debate. We'll try to go 3 years. He does want to be the closer, which kind of sucks. I'm going to try to get him to commit to being in the bullpen. Let's go 2.8. I'll give him a player option. And we'll pay him a little bit more just to try and keep him happy. It's about as happy as he's going to be with that. 3.1 a year. With the player option, I'm willing to do that just to try and keep him happy. If he'll accept that, that's fine. I mean, he's not going to be all that happy about not being the closer anyway, but it is what it is. Then we have May and Quinlan, who are both going to be very expensive. So I guess my main question here is what to do with Napoleon Gillis and whether or not he's going to come back. Boyle might be left anyway. Johnson's already gone. So right now we're looking at Vincent, Padilla, Garner, Velez, Zarate, Anaya, and maybe even someone like Tavarez on the way up. Only reason to sign Gillis here. Only reason to sign Gillis would be if we don't want to rush Anaya, but I think Anaya is already good to go and should be better before next season begins. Oh, Gillis, buddy, I think I'm going to let you go. Just because we have so much money that we have to spend on some of our higher-ups that Napoleon Gillis is also going to be left out. That leaves Quinlan and May, both contracts I am very, very concerned about. And then we have to re-sign everybody else. So that'll be fun. So what we're going to do, I want to go through tender contracts first. These guys will be the cheaper options. Let's go maybe for the big-time money deals first. I'm not entirely sure. So catching-wise, Abreu does need a contract. Not available for salary arbitration. We can go 1 year at $9.10. He wants to play every day. That is not going to happen. I'm going to see if I can get him to accept this role. Might be a decent chance of it. The interest is still there. Now it drops. So where does the interest drop? Okay, I'm going to go $800K. I'll see if he accepts that initial offer, as I'm just going to try to keep him on roster. He's the backup catcher anyway. I'm not too worried about his happiness. Damian Camacho is the type that we just sign every year, even though he's terrible. I'm actually just going to let him go so that I don't have to worry about him anymore. So Camacho is also going to be leaving. Fernandez, Grabak, and Aguila were not ours to begin with. So right now, catching-wise, it's going to be Shipman, Abreu, and Enriquez if Abreu accepts. At first, we do have Serrano to worry about. He's not looking for anything, though. Just pretty nice. Wants a platoon role. Going to try to get him into a depth role here for this contract, though, and see if he's still willing to accept it. We can... Well, let's go for $750. I'm trying to save as much money as I possibly can for these big-time contracts. Hong we don't have to worry about. Carr we don't have to worry about. Rios and Welsh. Actually, Rios we don't have to worry about either. It's just Eddie Welsh. How good is Welsh? See potential to 57 overall, 23 years old. I'm going to drop him as well. He might come back, but I'm no longer going to consider him someone that we're concerned about. So I'm free to just get rid of him, but we'll let him walk. Find somebody else to fill the role. Abdul Elam. Can we do here? 1 year deal. I'm going to pay him a little bit more just in case we end up playing him. Well, okay. I can pay him a little bit more in case we end up playing him in the major league, and then he'll be pissed off about how little he's getting paid, or I can save money for 1 season and just sign him to 100K. I'm probably going to look to save money. I can't really afford to care about player morale. It's more just having to get this team together for one more run. Robbie Esparza is worth signing just in case. Same thing. 100K, try to save money. Gaskins is not ours. Third base, we have Lewis, who is indeed looking to play every day. That is not going to happen. I'm going to drop him to a depth role, see how much money we can save here. It's not dropping off anytime soon, but just in case he plays at the major league level, when does that drop off? 500K? So I'd be risking him in years 2 and 3 of that contract being aggravated about how much he's getting paid. So I'm at least going to bump that up to 800K, and that should be fair. No guarantees he accepts it, of course. But we also got Quintero and Holder, who we're not worried about. Shortstop, Fernando Chavez. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go 2 years. And again, going to drop him down to a depth role just in case. And we'll pay him the 800K. Cardenas. Cardenas will just go 100K to try and make sure he accepts it. Moreno is not ours, nor is Marmolejo. Marmolejo, I would guess. Marmolejo, as we'll call him. Scott Clausen, you've never quite developed, but you're still not a bad depth option. We'll go 100K there. Dave Miles has he potential at 23. Miles, we're going to drop just so that we don't have to worry about him anymore. Same for Juan Calzado. Just going to drop him so I can take him off the list of important players here. And then Fuentes isn't even ours. So right now in left, technically, it's just going to be Clausen and Lawson. So that's good. Yeah, we're going to let go of Miles and Calzado. Look to bring in a bit weaker guys. I'm not worried about the AAA ball club making it to the playoffs. Center field, we have Stephen Booth. He's the only one that we really have to worry about here. Drop him down to a depth role. Try to sign him to about, I'm going to go 800K if I can. Again, trying to save as much money as possible. And in right, Fernandez, still worth keeping. If he thinks he's going to be in a platoon role, he is wrong. Go 700K there. Leary still a C potential. We'll keep him around. And Munoz is not ours to worry about. Pitching-wise, good lord. Good lord. Ray Woodall. Ray Woodall. 1976 C potential. Still worth keeping. We'll sign him to as cheap as we can. Russell Zarate, who again might be making that push for the full-time bullpen spot this season. Try to pay him the 800K and hope for the best. I'm going to have him listed under depth, which he's going to be pissed about. But I'll have him... Actually, I'm going to go for 700K, try to save a little bit more money. Drew Tavarez, also absolutely worth paying a little bit more. Richie Montgomery we'll keep around as well. Won't be too bad for the AAA team. And Cairo we'll keep as well for the hell of it. No harm in that. Relievers, Jack Burden is a burden. I'm going to keep him just in case, though. Not for 5 years, buddy. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. God, you're looking for too much. I got to be honest, I have cheaper options. I'm going to let go of Jack Burden. He is looking for a little bit too much. I'm not interested. Valazquez, that's more like it, Edwin. Welcome back, hopefully. Alex Shearer is also ours. Not that great, but I'll bring him back for a season. And Michael Chen is not going to improve, obviously, so we'll let him go. Quick and easy. Starting pitching-wise, Pedro, you might make the roster this upcoming season. I am still going to pay you absolute dirt, though, so we can try to afford others. Eric Valencia is very much ours. And same thing. Wow, I want to talk about a good chance of making the roster. Holy shit. Again, though, I'm going to be cheap as I can and try to get him back for nothing. Jason Lord, who is a Rule 5 pickup. Same thing. Going to try to be as cheap as possible, save as much money as we can to get those deals done. Rey Nielsen. Rey Nielsen also on a roster. Let's see what we can do. 3 years, depth roll, 750. I'm going to go 700, see if that's good enough. Orlando Rosas, the A potential. We put a lot of stock into our pitching prospects over the last few years, and hopefully that proves to be the last thing we were missing. Hopefully we can find some success here. Harmon Malgrat can come back. That's fine. Bring him back. Bring in Daniel Stapleton, of course. Domingo Flores can stay. This way, too, we won't have to sign any starting pitchers. Vincent Medley, come on back. Tommy Alonso. Benedict Prescott, sign him back. And Daniel Diaz is terrible. And for that reason, we're going to let Daniel walk. Sorry, Daniel. Just not going to happen. So we got $12 million in pending offers. And that's going in for everybody except Quinlan and May. We have until the 23rd to work out these deals. Talbot signs with the Royals. He's a 92. Miguel Diaz, Danny Jones, Michael Fitch, Jamal Kurtz, some big names signing here early. And, of course, free agency is irrelevant to us. We don't have anybody that I'm overly worried about. Our 2 qualified players, no offers for Joe Bailey, which is not that surprising. Still waiting. I mean, again, we're going to let go of Gillis, Trevino, Rincon, Johnson, and Post, so it's just Velez, May, and Quinlan that I'm worried about. And we still have quite a few offers there that I'm hoping we'll see players accept, hopefully sooner rather than later. Right now, though, Archie May obviously has to come back. I mean, the outfield situation isn't all that strong. Lawson is better than that. Yeah, he's an 81. So, I mean, we have Lawson, we have Kay, we have Booth, and then Tom Lau. We could afford to let go of Archie, but I don't want to, obviously. I mean, the backup plan, of course, would be to play Bobby as an outfielder and let Marlon play first with Vasquez at third. But, I mean, I have to at least try to come to a decision with him, and he's not even looking for that much. I mean, we can go 3 years and save a boatload of money on Archie May. It's just whether or not we're going to be able to afford Quinlan at the same time. And I might not be able to without doing some preemptive trades, like getting rid of Boyle. Let's go for that sweet player option on the 3-year deal. We'll bump that up. We're going to go 5.9 a year for a potential MVP candidate. Hopefully he'll accept that. I'm still going to wait for Quinlan. Eli Jimenez made it up to a 96. Jesus. Joe Coleman signs. Palmer goes to the Indians. Let's see. I feel like the vast majority of our players have not accepted contracts, and it's kind of scary. It's a little bit scary. So again, guys like Alonso, I'm good if any of those guys were to be exposed on the Rule 5. So Rincon, okay, thankfully, Velez has signed. So again, all of these guys are on the way out. It's just, will Archie May accept that deal? I'm waiting for guys like Valencia and everybody else here that we've sent offers to. We're looking okay, though. Quinlan, I'm not going to be able to afford you. There is, well, if I go down to the 1-year deal, what are we looking like at 12.9? I can afford to sign Quinlan, but barely. So I'm going to go with my gut. Let's double check here. Say for someone like Boyle, who's making, he's got 8 years left. That's right, I forgot about that. Bruce, I'm afraid you're going to drop. You had a really good regular season, but you dropped the ball in the playoffs, and I am just over you, and I need that extra cash. So again, we are going to trade him to a team like Baltimore for one of their worst people, Guillermo Batista. Go ahead and do that. Boyle, see you later. We get nothing back for you. We're not allowed to trade for players, of course. I mean, I'm allowed to do that, which is a little bit cheap, but of course I left it up to you guys early on if we wanted that to be an option or not, if that was too cheap. We had no rule against it. So that was the deal. Quinlan, I'm going to try to get into an everyday role, even though he's not going to be happy about it. But it's for the best. I know it really doesn't change that much, but still, it would be like winning a fake argument. Oh boy, he's still going to want to get paid here. That's a decent chunk. I just can't promise that I'm playing Quinlan in a star role. I cannot promise that. I have to do it though, then potentially piss him off. What's the cheapest we can go? $14.3 million for 1 year. One more year of Joe Quinlan. We'll see if he signs that. We are rapidly running out of time though on some of these contracts. We have also had Archie May accept the deal. So the only player we're waiting for here is Quinlan. And as far as the other offers, we're waiting for Valencia, Abreu, Elam, Rosas, Pena, Valazquez, I believe, was the last one. Indeed, he is. So will Joe Quinlan sign? Yes, he will. All right, Quinlan is back. We had to sacrifice Brian Boyle to do it. But Brian Boyle? Bruce Boyle. Brian Boyle. Hockey references. Yay. Is there anybody else who's simply making far too much money? Probably Norman Garner, who just hasn't really had it. I don't really know if there was anybody else, though. Marlon's not getting paid a ton. Edwards is getting paid a ton. Vasquez is getting paid quite a bit. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody where it's like, oh yeah, clearly we can trade away this person and free up a little bit of cash. Because otherwise we might have a tad bit of trouble affording some of these players. Winston Medina. I could free up a little bit of space by trading Winston Medina, and that seems like a really good idea. Baltimore. How would you like to give me Hayden Navarro? Thank you very much. So Baltimore, the beneficiaries of these deals here. But we have to free up a little bit of space to try and sign some of these other guys. So again, nobody here I'm worried about. Rincon, Johnson, Post, Gillis, they're all gone. As far as these offers are concerned, just 4 players left. And we have until December 2nd for that to work out. So Christian Arroyo signs with the Braves. Let's take a look, and we are good. Every single person we wanted is back. We don't have a ton of cash, though, in the old cash flow. But I think we're doing all right. It's just whether or not we end up losing anybody to the Rule 5 and who we could potentially bring in. Still waiting to see what happens with the players that we have on the free agent list, mainly Joe Bailey. Well, I think we're good to go. Let's do this. Let's sim forward. Don't stop simulating. We're good. Rosario to the Twins. And in fairness, if Joe Bailey were to have signed anywhere, I would not have seen. So let's see if Joe Bailey has signed anywhere, shall we? He has. Joe Bailey signed with the Phillies. So we might get a little bit of compensation, but that's also rough that he just went to another NL team. But got to deal with that. Got to deal with that. Casey Mize to the Padres. And aside from that, we are looking good. To the Rule 5 we go. Let's see if there's anybody to pick up here. We've done very well in the with the Rule 5 draft throughout this series. It's just whether or not there's anybody worth picking here. And the answer to that might not be no. Or it might be no. Hopefully might not be no. Mark Wada appears to be the second best pitcher available. Bartolo Molina, 25 years old, being a 79. Not too shabby. Is there anybody closer? No. So that's clearly the best starting pitcher available. For relievers, we have Johnnie Dyson, 24 being a 79. For closers, nobody to that same level. So for a pitcher, we're either looking at Bartolo Molina, which, I gotta be honest, I'm leaning against picking him because of the amount of depth that we already have. I mean, there's a logjam of talent. We already have 6 players for 5 spots. Not to mention if someone like Rosas really takes a step forward. So I think for our pitcher, we're going to look to take Johnnie Dyson. And that'll at least, provide a different look to the bullpen if we need it. Catcher, Tino Salinas isn't that bad. Of course, right now we have no catching depth whatsoever outside of the 2 that we already have. Brian Heinlein's there. Mesas, I'm not really digging it, though. I mean, if we take a catcher, it's just for depth, and then we send down Martin Abreu, right? Who's just never really... I mean, he's developed a bit. It's just the bat is so weak when compared to Henry Shipman. I mean, you have your hitting first, your defensive first, and Shipman's been okay defensively over the years. First base-wise, nobody. Second base, Steven Richards, master of the Stevie kick. And looks like him, too. Steven Richards is there. Might be a late bloomer, like a Marlon Pugh, but maybe not. There's also Davis Craven, who's a year younger and an overall point better. But, of course, the issue, as I nearly dropped the controller, the issue is that anybody we take, of course, has to sit on roster, which is why it's so much easier to potentially take a catcher here, unless there's a can't-miss prospect. Even someone like Randy Clifford's looking pretty good, but to have him sitting on the Major League roster is a little bit dangerous, but it could also result in someone getting, a little bit of... that was Lewis. Nice. Could also result, though, in someone getting some valuable playing time down in AAA. So let's see. Center field, not really seeing anybody prospect-wise. Sierra's not bad, but we already have Stephen Booth, who is also not bad. Provides a bit more speed. Okay, I think above all else, I want to make sure that we end up with the reliever, Johnnie Dyson. He will be joining the team, and then I might just take a catcher that seems to be the best bet right now, just to get a little bit of team depth going. And I think it's got to be Andy Cruz. That's closing. Nope, I was going to say, wait a minute. These aren't the players I was looking at. It's either going to be Salinas, who is just not great. What about Mesa? Mesa at least has a bit of power. At least has a bit of power to him. Heinlein's pretty well rounded. Then again, so is Salinas. Let's take a look. I don't think we could go wrong with either. Tino Salinas. Let's do it. Tino, welcome aboard. We'll get a little bit of catching depth just because we are already so stacked elsewhere. we are good to go. It's just a matter of what the roster ends up looking like here heading into this new season. The good thing is we're not going to have too much to do in terms of sorting up the team. I mean, we're still pretty much good, just like we were last year. We ended up winning the division last year, just fell short in the playoffs. As we are good to continue onward to spring training we go. First step, do we have any better scouts available? We also lost a scout. So right now we have 2 in the East. Is there anybody better international-wise than Fernando Minor? I highly doubt it. 270s, a 60, and a 90. I'm going to keep Minor over him. What about Alberto Matthews? Still going to keep Minor. Yeah, Minor's an absolute beast. As far as the Central region is concerned, that's not even close. Yamazaki stays. We need someone for the West. It's going to be Hernandez, more than likely. And I think, yeah, we're going to... That's really tough. The efficiency for Cedeno really hurts him. I know Saunders isn't that great with position players, but I think Hernandez will be replacing Cedeno, who was auto-signed for us, if I'm not mistaken. So what the roster is shaping up to be this year is... It's a tough call, because I think we are still going to play Shipman. So Abreu going down to AAA to start the year. It'll be Shipman and Salinas. And of course we'll have to sign a couple of catchers. Nothing too crazy. I might just stay live with this for once, because there really isn't a whole hell of a lot to do. So we'll sign the 2 worst catchers, Cordero and Montoya. Quick and easy. And you folks will enjoy the fine world of minor league baseball. Congrats on making money when you wouldn't otherwise. First base-wise, Richie McCauley is just about ready to go. We have way too much depth there. Obviously, the point where we're having to play Marlin at third. McCauley will be down in AAA. I'm probably going to play Serrano down in double, so he's at least playing every day and not behind McCauley. And Eric Luna, congratulations, you get to play in single. Marlon and Bobby, of course, will still be on roster. Second base-wise, I feel like Cabrera has to be there, but obviously he's more of a defensive sub. Delman Lint, bump up to AAA. Esparza and Smith, probably drop down Smith too. We're going to have to sign a couple of players to replace him, but for the most part, it's fine. I'll probably sign an extra first baseman for the hell of it, maybe 2. Let's sign Rob Ferris and Orlando Cordero for the season. Normally would only sign 1 more, but screw it, we'll sign 2. So Cordero, be happy in AAA. Ferris, be happy in double, and then Luna will be down to single. Second base-wise, I might sign 1 more guy for the hell of it, although for the most part we're probably fine. Third base, okay, let's go sign a couple of third basemen really quickly. James Key, Holder, and Quintero, welcome aboard. So quick and easy with this decision. I mean, Lewis isn't going to play full-time, so he has to be down in AAA. And the question is whether or not that's going to stunt any development for him. He's technically a 79. Like, we have to make that choice. Vasquez sitting every day probably isn't for the best, but then what else do we do? Do we make one of those major changes? I mean, we have Shipman at catcher. The argument is there. I mean, again, in a non-DH league, what do? We have too many good players in the infield. We have Bloom, Pugh, Edwards, Vasquez, Lewis, Quinlan. Too many players for too few spots. And as a result, someone like Henry Lewis ends up being down in AAA when he should probably start getting regular Major League playing time. Shortstop-wise, Chavez might also end up being a bench player for us. Cardenas will be up in AAA, which is nice, and he ends up being one of the top-rated prospects. Let's see if we can sign probably 2 other shortstops here. It'll be Scott Kingery. It will not be. Mara Malejo, welcome back. And Brendan Rodgers, no. Moreno, yes. That way we don't have to pay you all that much. Let's see, shortstop-wise, you can stay in AAA. We'll drop you down to double. And then in the outfield, Clausen will obviously be in triple. Oh boy. So Lawson's going to play. I think it's going to be Lawson, May, and Lau. So Stephen Booth will be down in AAA. Of course, we shouldn't lose him to waivers. And Bryant Kay will be the bench player, much like it was last year. Fernandez is going down to triple as well. And then we also have Leary. So AAA this year will be Fernandez, Booth, Clausen, and Leary. And we're going to have to sign a couple of outfielders to figure everything out here. So you're going to be in AA. You're going to be in AA. You're going to be in AA. I think you're going to be in AA. And you're going to be in single. Looks like that's how it's shaping up. Not too bad. So again, enjoy the fine world of AA. Enjoy the fine world of single A. Enjoy the fine world of AA. You get to go down to AA, and so do you, Mr. Munoz. Our AA ball club is going to suck. And just in case of injury, let's sign one more dude, actually. One more dude. You, Johan. What was he, 36? One more run for Johan. One more run. He's actually not that bad. I didn't even mean to sign someone who was that good. So you get to go to double, and Munoz, you'll go down to single. Quick and easy. So as far as the bullpen is concerned, we have Dyson. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Padilla. It's not too bad. I think Cervantes will be the man on the outs right now because of the Rule 5 pickup. It's not too bad, though. So you're going down to double for the moment. Navarro would be in single. So AAA is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and probably 6 with Valazquez. So Valazquez is 1, 2, Woodall is 3, 4 with Anaya, 5 with Tavarez, and 6 with Montgomery. AA is 1 and 2. Quick and easy. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Although, let's be honest, we got to sign probably 2 depth players here. Sign him up. And Garcia, you want a 2-year deal. That's not going to happen. So, quick and easy moves. Go ahead and drop you to double. Drop these 2 to single. All we have left to figure out is the starting pitching. So, of course, there are a couple of guys who are going to be down in AAA who probably shouldn't be, but it's a matter of us trying to win as opposed to developing certain talents. As far as the starting pitching is concerned, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Eric Valencia. He will be given the opportunity more than likely, although, oh boy, he would be in the bullpen. I think it's got to be someone like Richie Burnett who ends up being there. So Valencia, I add you to the Rule 5 for no reason. This is going to use one of your options, but it's fine. So our 6th is going to be Burnett because I'm not worried about his development. AAA starters will be 1. Oop, no, Nielsen, you were already good. Whoops. Well, whatever. Put you through waivers. People never get claimed anyway. So AAA is going to be 1, 2, 3 with Rosas, 4 with Malgrat, 5 with Pena, and 6 with Stapleton. Then AA is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Prescott. And for the depth, we have 1. Let's try to sign one other guy, Michael Wall. And we should be okay. We just got to wait for a lot of those guys to pass through. Let's just go ahead and sim a little bit. Stephen Booth, would you like to withdraw this waiver request now? Yes? Am I good? That has never happened before. If I lose Stephen Booth, it's not the worst case scenario. Alright, I'll try to send him down again. If I lose him, it is what it is. But I've legitimately never had that issue. Yeah, Arizona took him. Alright, Stephen Booth is off the roster. That is the first time I have ever had somebody get claimed during spring training. It is what it is, though. He was a depth player for us. So the Major League roster, we have those 4. AAA is now 1, 2, 3, and let's go with this dude as the 4th. Munoz will be called up to AA. And I think ideally, I just realized that left fielder we signed is Tommy Lee. I think ideally we'll bring in someone like Fuentes, and then he fills the depth role that we just lost. So the AAA roster gets a little bit weaker, but overall we're not too bad. And did everybody clear? I think everybody else cleared, which is good. The AAA roster is a little bit too pumped up, but that's because the first base situation. Actually, the first base situation's fine. We need to send down Quintero to AA with you, and we'll send down Moreno to AA with you. And our rosters are set for the season, so we will sim to the beginning of a new year. Let's figure out what we want everything to be. First and foremost, let's take a look at the top prospects. We have the best prospect in baseball right now, that being Orlando Rosas, which is nice. Henry Lewis is also up there at 21 years old, even though he obviously should not be in the minors. Eric Valencia, also there, 20th right now for prospects. Cardenas at 36th, and he is our last on the list. As far as the rotation is concerned, obviously Norman Garner will not be a part of the rotation. Pedro is in. Jason Lord is in. I think for the most part, we're just going to base it off the overalls here and see what happens. And as far as the long relievers concerned, I don't know who's going to be the setup man this year, actually. Let's see. 70 clutch for Zarate, 62 for Dyson, 54 there, 69 there. Padilla was pretty lights out last year. So was Chris Velez. But it also means I kind of want to use them both a little bit more. Have those two lead the way bullpen-wise. Then I don't know who the hell the setup man's going to be. I guess, yeah, have Padilla, Garner, and Velez lead the way and then maybe go with the two setup man deal, but I don't feel like the AI balances that out very well. Otherwise, it would be between Dyson and Zarate, and I'd prefer Zarate. So maybe we'll leave that like that for now, although we could go with the two setup man option and just have those three lead the way in the bullpen. But I'm a little bit worried that either Dyson or Zarate wouldn't be used all that much. So maybe it would be worth just having Zarate there, have Dyson as a setup man. But that is going to be the rotation this year. AAA-wise, I'm just going to let the AI fix those in due time. And I'll keep an eye on it, but it doesn't really matter to me where they play. And then the lineup-wise is where it gets interesting. Because obviously, we're going to have somebody sit out, and it is going to be Bryant K yet again, because we want to continue to try and develop Lawson. So Lau with 72 speed. I'm probably going to play in center this year. Have Lawson out in left where he belongs. It's between May and center or Lau. And to be honest, it should probably be Archie May from the looks of it. So as far as the lineup is concerned, Lawson just wants to be every day. Shipman's every day. Star expectation there. Star expectation there. May is alright with every day. Pugh wants to be a star. Bloom wants to be a star. We can't worry about balancing this. People just aren't going to be happy one way or another. So I think we go back to a Quinlan, Edwards, Bloom, Pugh, May, Vasquez start. And then have probably like Lau, Shipman, and Lawson. Seems like a decent way to do it. Use Shipman, I mean, hell, you could have Shipman ahead of Lau to start. And then non-DH wise, I think Vasquez is going to stay, and it's going to be Lawson or Lau who takes a seat. And I think to start the year, it's going to be Lawson, just because we have more to lose with Lau not developing. So I think the non-DH lineup right now, K is obviously going to take a seat. Vasquez is in for the moment. Obviously, he's not going to stay there. May is going to play there. Vasquez will be moved to first. Swap with Pugh. Nope, that was completely botched. Marlin at first. Bloom is going to the left. Lau and right. May at center. And I think that's the way I want to set it up. So we'll have Shipman, Lau, and again, just this lineup, though, of Quinlan, Edwards, Bloom, Pugh, May, Vasquez. How could we not win this division this year? How can we not be right back into contention? This is, if this isn't our best bet, last year was, but even so, we're still looking that good at this point. Like, we absolutely need to win this year. The pressure is on if it wasn't already. It's insane. I mean, obviously the team that we've built and having those top picks, being successful with those top picks, but now's the time where it's either we get the job done or this entire core goes down as a group of failures, unfortunately. It's one or the other. There's no real way around it. So May will be in center, Bloom will be in left, Lau in right. Quinlan, Edwards, Bloom, Marlon Pugh, Archie May, Vasquez, Shipman, and Lau. It's going to be the lineup this year. As far as where we're rated because of that, we are the best team in baseball in terms of pure rank. First in contact and power, third in pitching, fifth in speed, 21st in defense, though, is our weakness right now. The Cardinals are third, Brewers 17th, Pirates 11th, and Cubs 18th. It's going to be another tough season to win the division title, but I'd like to think we're capable of doing so. Next episode, we see what the Cincinnati Reds have to offer this year. We are in our prime winning years, and if this window closes, or the series ends, one or the other, without a title, it will be viewed as a failure. Let me know down in the comments if you change anything about the team, the moves that we made, the players that we let go of, if you would change anything, any and all suggestions, more than welcome, as at this point, I am just so desperate to win.